it's Elizabeth O'Brien from Grammar Revolution, where we help you teach and learn grammar the easy way with sentence diagrams. And today we are answering a question about passive verbs. My daughter had a homework assignment where she had to identify whether sentences were active or passive. We struggled with it. Could you give us a lesson on passive verbs and include example sentences? Please put me out of my misery. Claire. That is a great question, Claire. And before we get to active and passive, let's just have a little refresher on subjects and verbs. Subjects tell us whom or what a sentence is about. So in the sentence, Mary sang, Mary is the subject. The sentence is about Mary. Verbs, and specifically we're going to focus on action verbs here, action verbs show action. So in the sentence, Mary sang, sang is the action verb. Action verbs can be written in the active voice or the passive voice. When an action verb is written in the active voice, all that means is that the subject performs the action of the verb. So the subject is the one performing the action. Here are some examples. My grandma made this scarf. Grandma is the subject, and she is the one doing the action. She's performing the action. She's the one making the scarf. The class took the test. Class is the subject here, and they are the ones performing the action. They are the ones taking the test. The storm demolished many buildings. Storm is our subject, and demolished is our verb. The storm is performing the action. It's doing the demolishing. So, to recap, when an action verb is written in the active voice, that just means that the subject is performing the action. When an action verb is written in the passive voice, all that means is that the subject receives the action. So you can think of it as, in the passive voice, subjects just sit there passively. They don't do anything. They're just receiving action. Here are some examples of action verbs written in the passive voice. The scarf was made by my grandma. Scarf is the subject, and was made is our passive verb. Notice that scarf isn't doing the making. It's not doing anything. It's receiving the action from being made. The test was taken by the class. Here, test is the subject, and was taken is the verb. Notice that the subject isn't performing the action, it's receiving the action. And many buildings were demolished by the storm. Buildings is our subject, and were demolished is our verb. The buildings are receiving the action. They are the ones getting demolished. They aren't doing anything. The easy way to remember this is that when action verbs are written in the active voice, the subject is active. The subject is doing something. The subject is performing the action of the verb. When an action verb is written in the passive voice, that means that the subject is passive. It just sits there, but it's not doing anything. All right, it's time to give you a test. Here are 10 sentences, and your job is to find the verb and figure out if it's written in the active voice, if the subject is performing the action, or the passive voice, if the subject is receiving the action. Put this video on pause right now, write down your answers, and then press play when you are ready to hear the answers. Okay, you're back, so you must be ready to hear the answers. Here they are. I hope that went well for you. And I also hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you for being here. If you'd like to learn more about teaching or learning grammar the easy way with sentence diagrams, you can check out our website at grammarrevolution.com. I'll see you later.